gonna go in here.
Even as I'm stepping through these doors,
En la misma celda.
I don't fully grasp what we're about to walk into. Suddenly, you're hit with the intense gaze of dozens locking onto you. These men describe
I heard this is the worst prison in El Salvador, so let's check and see what's going on in there.
as the worst of the worst, tattooed with reminders of El Salvador's dark past. It's tense and uncomfortable, but here, officials say comfort isn't meant to exist.
There's no mattresses, there's no sheets. You've got a toilet over here for them to go to the bathroom. You've got this basin here that they use to bathe themselves.
Did he just say there's no mattresses, there's no bed sheet? So they sleeping on the hard concrete or the what? Wow.
And then you can see there's a barrel of water that they can drink from.
This is a rare look inside El Salvador's terrorism confinement center, known as Secot.
He says there's always somebody standing here in front of the cells. And then if you look up, there's another corridor with more security personnel. Luz 24 horas. 24/7 light.
The prison
They're on a full alert. Like, guard in front at the top, on the side is like, even if you wanted to escape or even think about it, you can't even think about escaping.
sits like an isolated fortress, nestled in mountainous terrain, about an hour-and-a-half drive from the capital. Even with government officials on board with us, we're stopped a mile out.
Oh, okay. He's gonna inspect bags now too. Okay, we're clear to get back in.
Only to hit another checkpoint. Approaching the main gate, our cell signals vanish.
They want to do a full search on us before we enter.
Secot's director, Belarmino Garcia, greets us
Bienvenido.
and takes us through a rigorous security check.
Wedding ring. So this is like airport security on steroids. Anything that we're carrying with us. Móvil aquí, teléfono. Okay, anything we're carrying with us has to go there. And then there's a body scan that continues on the other side. Aquí. Shoes off. This one back on. Gracias.
Once cleared, we toured the vast campus, starting with the armory.
He says they have to constantly remind themselves that they're dealing with essentially the worst of the worst, and for that reason, they need to be ready for whatever risks they might face. It's been equated to 7 football stadiums. It's almost multiple prisons within the prison. You can see off to the distance, there's 3 different rings as they describe. The far end, you have one that's...
I wonder, is people that go there are serving life? Like, or is it like some of them are just serving like maybe 10, 20, 30 years? Or maybe everyone that goes to that prison serving life? I wonder that because, you know, America, some people that goes to prison probably serving like 5, 8, 9, 10 years. Anything above 300 and anything above a year, 366 days you're in prison. I hope I'm saying it right. Yeah, if it's under 12 months, you go to jail. Above 12 months, you go to prison. But I wonder for this specific jail in El Salvador, is it the same? Not the same. What am I saying? I can't even talk right. Is it like only people that serving life that goes there, or people that have like, okay, I'm going to give you 20 years, go over there, but you come out in 20 years, or maybe those people never come out. I hope some of them do, in terms of like, damn, they gang members. Some of them might not. All right, hold up. Let me fix something here. I think the speed is a little too high. Let me put it back to normal, and then let's continue watching. Let's see what we got here.
9 meters high of concrete, and then above that, 3 meters of electrified fencing.
15,000 volts.
15,000 volts.
More than 1,000 security personnel, guards, police, and military are stationed on site. Inmates are assigned to one of 8 sectors.
The director tells me the inmates, once they're inside one of these sectors, they never leave. Everything is done within, including doctors, as well as legal visits or court hearings.
Each sector holds more than 24 large cells.
Roughly 80 inmates per cell, but it can fluctuate.
Most bear the markings of the gangs that held this nation hostage for decades, committing brutal acts of violence.
You gotta kill people, you gotta rob
You gotta do what you gotta do to survive.
You have to do those things.
Yeah, you gotta do that.
And if you didn't do those things, you wouldn't.
You wanna be a gangbanger.
We meet 41-year-old Marvin Vasquez, shackled and heavily guarded.
What gang were you part of?
MS-13.
And do you have any gang affiliations?
Yeah, I'm tattooed up.
What is this?
Crazy criminal. Say crazy criminals. Yeah, I made this clique in 2011.
You made the clique.
Yeah,
You were a gang leader.
yeah.
What is it like to live here?
It's probably not a hotel 5-star, but they give you the 3 times of food. They give you some programs. You go to do exercise.
So they don't even get to see the sky, basically. It's like they get out the cells and right in the hallway. They don't even get to see the sky. Let's go back.
Some church religion programs too.
But that's limited to just 30 minutes a day. The other 23 and a half hours, they're kept inside and locked up.
Oh, they do get to see the sky because it's
For
right
inmates
there.
who get violent with other prisoners or guards,
We're going to close the door. I just want to get a sense of. Wow.
solitary confinement awaits.
The only light you get is through this hole. And they can be in here for 15 days potentially. All right, I'm ready to get out.
Damn, 15 days in this? Wow. Yikes.
Critics point specifically to the prison's strict control and isolation of inmates, calling it a violation of human rights.
The director brought up that a lot of folks will raise concerns from a human rights perspective and an abuse of human rights, that he's calm hearing that because he sees it day to day, the process they go through to maintain, as he sees it, proper punishment.
Do you see this? It's like, let me see. Let me start counting 1 second. It's close to like 50 plus inmates in one cell. No mattresses, no sheets. Just a little, like, I don't know what they call this, like a little batch of water, a little tank of water, whatever you want to call it. And they only let them out 30 minutes or an hour a day. That is, imagine you spending like 20 years just doing the same thing, 23 hours a day. You just get up, sit, stand up. Anyways, whatever. Let's keep on going.
Maintain, as he sees it, proper punishment.
While you're cut off from society here, whispers of life on the outside make their way in.
I've heard about it, that it's a new El Salvador, it looks different.
That new El Salvador has emerged under President Nayib Bukele, who took office in 2019 and declared a controversial state of emergency more than 2 years ago. It sparked an aggressive crackdown on crime. We see that firsthand as some 2,500 police and soldiers deploy into one neighborhood.
Is going to go on through the night for however long it takes for them to root out any suspected criminal elements.
Quick question, leave it in the comment section. Which country, based on what you heard or seen, have the worst prison? Brazil, Mexico. I know the US is kind of, it's not, prison is not great, period, but which system you think is more fucked up when you goes in the prison system? Leave that in the comment, or just your thoughts, you know. I just want to hear it.
Late last week, as the U.S. State Department lowered its travel advisory for El Salvador, citing a significant reduction in crime, it also warned that Bukele's emergency measures allow authorities to arrest anyone suspected of gang activity and suspends constitutional rights.
So they don't even have to prove anything. If they suspect that you're in a gang, locked up. That's crazy.
Juan Carlos, yo soy David.
Juan Carlos tells me he was wrongfully held for 5 months at a lower security prison earlier this year. He says the poor conditions led to an infection in his leg.
He said he was lumped in and assumed to be part of a gang, and he said in part because of how he looked. He had long hair, he said he had a long beard, and he says he has tattoos, but he points out that for him these are just artistic expressions. They have nothing to do with being part of a gang.
Y eso vale.
The Bukele administration has acknowledged that innocent people have been swept up in the crackdown, and they say more than 7,000 have already been released. They see it as collateral damage, and Juan Carlos, while frustrated with the tactics, believes under Bukele his country is safer.
That's the worst thing that can happen, to go to jail for something you did not do. It's like, imagine sitting in there and you're like, I know. Yeah, that's the worst thing that can happen.
Is this headquarters for you guys?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Bukele's security minister targets gangs with an academic-like approach.
I heard you have a book. Is it true?
Yeah.
And this is a book that has the markings of gang members.
All the marks.
The minister compiling his findings from his nearly 30 years in law enforcement to help interpret gang symbols.
Wow, these 3 dots that says signify 3 things to the gang members, that they have 3 destinations essentially: jail, hospital, or cemetery.
From his office, he monitors crime reports in real time and keeps tabs on his officers in the field.
You can say, if there's a particular officer that's in an area that's in question, why were you there so long? What were you doing?
Of course.
And you can hold them accountable.
He even says the program they've built has started to incorporate AI, which can tell them
Where you have to put.
That is dope. That is dope. I really like that type of technology. Of course, so people that's committing the crime, they don't want that. But in terms of I like anything that have to do with AI. I think that's dope. Like, you can monitor and track everything in real time, especially when it comes up to these type of operation. It's cool. It doesn't necessarily have to be in any type of operation, any type of business. I think that's a good system.
You're a police officer.
and yet most we meet seem unfazed by the added show of force.
¿Te sientes seguro? I asked him, I said, how do you feel with all these soldiers? I mean, there's a couple of dozen just even right outside his door. And he said, no, I feel safe.
I sat next to Jorge Moran on my flight in. His family fled El Salvador's civil war when he was 3.
Just coming to the airport, you feel the sense of like safety, you know?
Do you feel it in the U.S.?
No.
You don't?
No.
And you live in Indiana?
Yes, sir.
Jorge fully supports President Bukele, as do most arriving passengers, it seems.
And folks are actually stopping to get their pictures taken between.
My boy say he does not feel safe in the U.S., but once he goes to El Salvador, he feels safe. That's crazy.
President Bukele and First Lady.
Under Bukele's state of emergency, law enforcement have arrested more than 81,000 people. El Salvador now has one of the world's highest incarceration rates. Most end up in facilities like these, where they can work to reduce their sentences. The most hardened criminals, though, brought to Secot, where inside, a life sentence awaits.
We did bad things, we pay it the rough way, doing time.
And yet for many on the outside, the prison, now a symbol of newfound freedom, the new El Salvador, as they see it.
Well, that was the story, I guess. See you in the next one.